Hi, fourth graders, this is Mrs. Nelson, and we are going to be working in this video on converting fractions improper to mixed and mixed to improper. So to do this, you are going to need to get a whiteboard and a marker and do this with me. So pause the video, gather your supplies, and restart the video. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we've already gone over what improper fractions look like. They have a large numerator and a small denominator. So this is an improper fraction. We have a mixed fraction, which you have a whole number beside a fraction. This is mixed. And then we have our regular proper fractions, which has a small numerator and a large denominator, and this is our regular proper fraction. So we have improper, mixed, and proper. And you can move back and forth between these two types. The mixed and the improper are the same kind of fraction. They are just shown a little bit different mathematically. So let's go ahead and get started with learning how to move back and forth between improper and mixed. Okay, now I'm going to start off with there's a reason why we move between improper and mixed. Sometimes it's easier to add, subtract, multiply, and divide if you're moving in between improper and mixed. It just depends on what your needs are. So there are reasons why you would like to use a improper or a mixed fraction. All right, so we have our improper fraction. Which is, let's start with 5/4. So we already know that we have a 5/4 would actually equal 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Move my face out of the way. Plus 1/4 plus 1/4. So I have altogether 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5/4 here. Because that's how addition works. We just count the pieces of fourths that I have. Now, we already know that if we said that, okay, so 5/4, we already know that 4/4 out of that 5/4. If we had 5/4 and we took 1, 2, 3, 4, we took 4 of those out, we'd have this 1/4 left. So if we took one whole and took out the 1/4, that would give us a mixed fraction. We take out the whole part. We take out the 4/4. How many 4/4 can I take out of there? So oftentimes you could turn this into a division problem of 5 divided by 4. Well, I can take one group, and that leaves me 4 with a remainder of 1, and I put that remainder of 1 over the top of my 4, and that becomes 1 1/4. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to do this. So if you're moving back and forth from an improper, so improper is probably the hardest, moving from improper to a mixed. So I have an improper, which then let's go with 6/4. I will always say, okay, how many I will take away, because this is my numerator, 4/4. How many can I take out? Well, I can take out the 4/4, and that'll leave me 2/4. Okay, so this actually turns into 1, and then there's 2/4 left over. So it'll be 1 2/4, or also known as 1 1/2. So if I looked at 8/7, I'll take away 7/7 because I'm trying to take one whole away from it. I'm trying to figure out how many whole holes can I take away from the 8/7. So I take 7/7, which is a whole, and I try to take that away, and that'll leave me 1/7 left over. So this is my whole. So that becomes my whole. This is my fractional piece left over. Okay? So that's probably the easiest way to show you. Some of you are very comfortable with division, and and division is probably the most common way you'll work it. So you would take the 8/7, divide 7 by 8. You would say 7. I can take out one group of 7, and then that would be 1. So then I would have one whole and put the 1 over the 7, and that's I put my remainder over 7, and that's my fractional piece. Okay? So that's how oftentimes, most commonly, you'll work with denominators and numerators and creating mixed fractions. You could do it either way. Okay, so let's look at another one that maybe is a little bit trickier. So if I have 13 fifths, I already know that I can take away 5 over 5. I can take that away, and that would give me, well, if I know that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so that would leave me 7 fifths. Well, I know that 7 fifths is still bigger. That's still improper. So I have 1 here, and I can still take another 5 fifths away. So that would leave me 2 fifths. So there's 2 right there. Or excuse me, I wrote that under the wrong one. So there's 2 right here. I've already taken away 2 groups of 5 fifths. So I've taken 2 groups of 5 fifths, leaving me with 2 and 5 fifths. This one's a tougher one because you have more than 1 whole in 13 fifths. So you have to take one group of 5 fifths away. That still leaves you with an improper fraction. So then I take another 5 fifths away. And then I get to an improper a proper fraction. And then I just count how many 5 fifths did I take away. I took away 1, 2. And then that left me with my 2 fifths. Let's look at that another one here and see if we can make a little more sense out of it. All right, so if I have 7 thirds, I know that I can take away one group of 3 over 3. I can take one whole away from that. I can subtract it. So that leaves me then 4 thirds. So this is still improper. It still has a big top, little bottom. So then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to take another 3 over 3 away. So then that would get me 1 third. Whoa, I've now hit my improper fraction. So how many red fractions did I take away? I took 1, and this is another 1. So I took 2 red fractions away, 2 wholes. And I was left with my proper fraction, which is then 1 third. So my improper fraction really becomes this. 7 thirds is really 2 and 1 third. Okay? So this is the hardest thing you'll probably have to do. Now, what does that look like if I wanted to actually divide it out? Well, if I wanted to actually divide that out, I could say 7 divided by 3, and I could take 2 groups. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract that, that's 1, and then put my remainder over the top of my 3, and that's 2 and 1 third. So you get the same answer either way you do it. I'm just showing you more than one way to do it. Some kids like it, the subtracting, division, actually grouped division, because this is a group of division, it's the same thing. It looks exactly the same. So some kids actually use the division strategy, and that's actually what you'll end up doing to create these problems. And if you have questions, concerns, see a teacher right away. Thank you.